Okay, and we're back. So I didn't know exactly what to do. I'll show you these first. I have these packages, how I try to keep things organized. I have these multiple different transfers and stickers, papers, tags. Most of them are from Creative Memories before they went Chapter 13. And then they reopened under a different name, which I don't approve of. So, but I still have all the stuff I got from them. So they have all kinds of different things. And I didn't know for sure if I would want to use some of those. That's nice. Nice list. Oh, let's leave this out. That's cute. To go with what I have right now. It looks like it's called Silver and Gold from Bo Bunny. And I got them on special from Scrapbooking Made Simple. I think it was January that I got them, but they were last year's supply. But they're big packages for the whole year. I think they were $19.99, something like that. So they're going to have another, but they're going to have it, I think, this Saturday. So anyway, if you want to get some really good deals, and you'll have them before Christmas this year. So, and these are others. Most of them are from the dollar store, but they're so cute. But I don't want to, because it's kind of vintage looking paper, I don't want to use these ones on it. So I just want to show you all the different things I have. Most of us become hoarders, and I think a lot of it is from stress. I know I was a retail buyer from stress after I got sick, because I had a lot of different sad things happen in my life. But of course you don't realize it till years and years later. But anyway, so I'm not going to use these, not for these projects anyway, but what I thought I would do, I'll put these away. I like the 3D look. So what I'm going to do, I had 2 sheets. Well, I think I bought 4 or 5 packs of the specials last year. So I donated 2 of them to Yap and Scrap in our area. And the money goes to different schools in our area. So I donated some kits of that, but they're for the whole year. And so I had lots anyway. So that's when I was it was my first time buying, so I didn't know how fast it would be or if it was actually true. So I ended up buying more than I needed. So anyway, I don't do that anymore. So I'll have to cut this one with my big cutter out of the picture, but I'll just put it over there for now because it's over on the left hand side of me. I keep my big cutter there. It's from Staples. It's a Duo trim. And it cut 12 by 12. And then I have my Creative Memory one that I keep on my right. That is excellent. I love it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim out these by hand, fussy cut. And this one was really cute, but I didn't know how to use it. It's the Sugar Palm Shop. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And that. Okay, so there. Okay, and that one I'll have to do. So let's see what else. What else could I talk about? I grew up in Central Ontario, I guess. Tiny little communities my mom and dad came from. My dad came from Mackay, Ontario, and my mom came from Bissett Creek, Ontario. Probably a horse and carriage when they were young and going out. I don't know what it took them, an hour. I don't know. By car, it's only probably 20 minutes. But anyway, and yeah, my parents were born in early 30s. Both of them have passed since then, which was really, it's very sad. Even though you're an adult, when you lose your parents, it's bad enough when you lose one, but when you lose the second one, it's like you become an orphan. It's such a strange feeling, and no amount of planning or even if they're ill, like Dad was, he was with us for 75 years. We had an excellent birthday get-togethers for him the last couple of years, and his 75th was excellent. He had a good time, but he had lots of health issues with heart and lungs, and he had a lot of pain near the end. His favorite dessert was probably butter tarts, but chocolate cake would have come in second. and he loved chocolate cake. But at the end, he couldn't even eat very much of it anymore. He had that much pain. So if you can't enjoy chocolate cake, I mean, your life is not so fun anymore. He lived with us for 5 years before he passed, and it was excellent. He was not a burden at all, and we didn't bug him. He got up every morning, got his own little breakfast together, whatever he wanted, and then he usually went into town to spend time with his sister. That they were always very close, Aunt Jeanette and Dad. And when she moved back from Kingston, it was again like a godsend, because after Mom passed suddenly, unexpectedly, and within half an hour of a bad headache, she was gone from a brain aneurysm. That was a year after I had gotten sick, and we were all thrown just off balance, best way to put it, because nobody knew she was sick. She didn't know she was sick. She didn't have any major headaches or anything. So when she got a headache, it was really bad, and then within half an hour she had such a bad headache that when the ambulance came, they took her out in the armchair. Whoopsie. Threw my water over just a second. Luckily there was a cap on it. So anyway, when the ambulance did come, they took her out in the armchair, because that's where she was laying on, and it was a odd shape of house front porch to get out. So as soon as the cool air hit her, it was October 26th, and as soon as the cool air hit her, she went into a coma. She passed out, and she never regained consciousness, and it was horrible, just horrible. Her and I had such a great relationship as adults. I was the only girl in the family, and I had 6 brothers. She had had a miscarriage, and she went full term. At that time, they were even worse about caring for pregnant women and stuff, and especially coming from a small place. So she went full term, and then it was stillborn, fully formed and perfect. But so that was that, and so I'm the 3rd youngest. There's another one. How would you say it? My youngest one is 4 years younger than me. My 2nd youngest is a year younger than me. We were born in the same year. I was born in January, and he was born in December. And we've always had a close relationship, like we were twins, except it was 11 months apart. That's Catholic for you. Back then, you could dare not even speak of birth control. So anyway, I'm going to swap glasses, because these are my not far, but from the computer screen away, and while you're eating. But then for fussy cutting, I need to have my other readers on. So here we go. So anyway, Dad lived with us, and he lived 6 years longer than Mom. We thought we were also scared that he would go shortly after Mom, because he was so dependent on her. She looked after him. She took care of him. She gave him hell for not eating the right foods when the doctor said, you should be doing this and this because of your heart condition, with your clogged arteries. And so it was years and years she stressed over that, and then finally she just said, well, if he doesn't want to do it, I'm not going to force him, and I'm not going to drive myself crazy with it. So anyway, they had a normal relationship, I think, when you've been together with somebody for so long. They had their own little, pet peeves with each other, and crazy. You think of it afterwards, and of course Dad thought of it afterwards. He wished he hadn't given Mom a hard time with some of the things she was trying to get him to do. Well, that's life and love. You have to really work at not doing the nitpicky things. And as you get older, you realize that. But they came from a time when the husband ruled the roost, and when he came home from his work type thing, because the wet housewife was no work, like didn't have any bearing on it, whatever, or value. So whenever he drove in the yard, okay, Dad's home. Everybody be quiet, don't bug him, blah, blah, blah. So we'd come home and we'd do our chores from school. We'd do all the farm chores. We had everything from chickens and cows and pigs, turkeys, ducks, horses. We had horses. My older brothers milked the cows. That's one of the things I didn't have to do. Other than that, I had to do everything else like the boys did. So when Mom had me, everybody said, "Oh, she's going to be spoiled. She's going to be spoiled." And Mom said, "No, she won't be." So she didn't spoil me. They didn't spoil me as a kid, but they spoiled me as an adult, which is even more fun. Her and I used to have some good teenager, what do you call that? Not tantrums, but disagreements, fights, and I'd be crying and she'd be crying, and then once I left home, everything was okay, and then we had a good relationship. I didn't usually live close to home because there wasn't anything to do other than waitress, and I knew I didn't want to be a waitress all my life, so I moved here and there in Canada. These are going to be 3D. I think they'll be okay, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of, not the thick foam tape on it. Excuse me. I'm just going to cut that piece. To move a whole lot of stuff out of the way. So just a second, I'm coming. Yeah, 1, 2. There. I'm just going to square it up. Okay, and now fussy cut this one. Be different. I think we'll just do it this way. Yeah, I'll do it this way. So anyway, when I turned 18, I moved to Toronto with my boyfriend then, and lived at his parents for a while. That was a treat. There's a prejudice in that family that, oh my gosh, if you weren't a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, I was a white Anglo-Saxon Catholic. When you're young and in love, you don't think it's going to tear you apart or whatever, but in this case it certainly did. She was a rather not nice person compared to my parents, who they took everybody at face value, and they liked everybody, and if you weren't very nice, then to them, then they wouldn't say anything against you, but they never made a judgment call before they knew what you were like. So anyway, and when because I was raised, Mom and Dad never told me I couldn't do anything that a guy couldn't, because I had to do all the chores the same as the guys, except for, like I said, the milking of the cows. So anyway, so I had how would you say that? I could tell a person off pretty quick, and I didn't, other than for the mother-in-laws, I told people where to go if it wasn't what I wanted to do type thing. So anyway, let's see. I moved all over the country. I'd gotten insurance when I went to Toronto, and then we broke up, and I moved back home. Then I moved to Cornwall, then I moved to out west, then I moved back home, and then when I moved back home, I met somebody, and we fell in love. The usual mother-in-law thing, didn't pay any attention, and it didn't work out. So anyway, that was 10 years, but we didn't have any kids, so it wasn't, it was awful, but not a whole lot of damage, I didn't think. Anyway, so there's my timer for half an hour before I have to start making supper. So I'll probably come back to this in a bit. Talk to you then.